What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the meetup presented by Diodoro. Performance first, crafted and tested at their Italy HQ. Diodoro gear is built for speed, and it's the choice of Marco Langen and Simeon Birnbaum. Johnny Pace, Olu Olamigoke, how are we doing today?
Nice
We're
to
doing
see you guys
good.
again. Missed you guys last week.
I
Yeah, you
know.
missed the
How was your
party last week.
vacay?
English crushed it though.
Yeah, she did.
Loved
She
it.
did. How
Loved it.
was the vacay?
It was good. His first time at Mardi Gras. It was, quite the sight to behold. My sister's getting married, so I was out hanging with my soon to be brother in law. So good, worthy excuse, but glad to be back. Excited. We got a U.S. champ this weekend. Nia and I are heading out back to New York, so counting down the days.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good. That's good. That is
Oh, yeah.
good.
We
I'll
have
be
a lot to
heading.
talk about.
Yeah, we do. I'll be heading to SECs this weekend. Looking forward to seeing what the show that's going to be because SECs always is a show. Not USA's, but I think I'll have a lot of cool updates coming from there. College Station this weekend for y'all as well.
Yeah, I mean, SEC is
That's good.
probably one of the arguably one of the most dominant conferences right now. So I think it will be something to look forward to. But hey, are y'all ready to talk about what's hot?
Let's do it.
All right. So this weekend, this kind of went viral. Tshepiso Masalela, he stormed to win in the men's 1500, setting a new meeting record and a Botswana national record of 3:32:55, and kind of like a down to the wire thriller. But he did get disqualified for unsportsmanlike conduct. As you can see in the picture here, he threw up the gun. And with that being said, meet record, national record, null and void. I have very strong opinions about this, but I will let you guys go first.
I mean, look, are we going to act like we're still in grade school, or are we going to let professionals be professionals? And before you say it's unprofessional for somebody to put their hands in somebody else's face, let's understand that these people are training to compete. That is, they train to win. That's what the profession is: to run fast and win, to jump far to win, to throw far to win. So if you're going to celebrate, let them celebrate. Now, on the other hand, I personally believe that if you're going to celebrate and you put your hands in somebody's face, you should fully expect for that other person's hands to be on your face at some point in time. But I don't think that should equate to a DQ. Like, these are competitors. We compete. Like, let's stop acting like we're at the golf course and we're not allowed to be happy for the accomplishments we've achieved. Like, let them compete, let them celebrate. If it's distasteful to you, so be it. I think this is a perfect example of, there's so much antiquated thinking at the highest levels and the official level, the officiating levels of this sport that really needs to be died off. And but that's just my own personal opinion. I feel strongly about it, but that's where I stand.
Yeah, I kind of have a mixed bag on it. It kind of harkens back to our ins and outs. I was a big proponent of showboating being in for 26. I just think it keeps it fresh and interesting. In this case, it's a little more mixed for me. Like, it's like kind of the gun thing. It's kind of promoting violence, which I'm never in favor of. So in this case, I would have maybe chosen a different celebration, but yeah, kind of mixed on this one. Yeah, what do you said you had strong opinions? So what do you
Ew.
feeling on this?
And I'm gonna start off with I feel like can't nobody stop the growth of track and field like track and field. I do think like this disqualification was wildly unwarranted. I think if you're going to disqualify a runner, it should be because they maybe pushed someone off the track, clearly like messed up their race in some way, shape, or form, stopped them from finishing, stopped them from like literally running the race that they were clearly on track of doing, not because they had a celebration, something that you see in other sports. As a matter of fact, something that you see within this sport, but it's just kind of picking and choosing when we're going to practice certain rules of unsportsmanlike conduct. And I think having it just deemed to the discretion of the officials, it's kind of annoying to watch. And again, to
Yeah,
that point, meet record, national record, null and void. It didn't happen now because he has a DQ
yeah,
next to his name as opposed to that really good 3:32:55. So that's just
that's
kind of my opinion.
insane. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
insane. I think it's like to your right exactly as you said. He didn't touch Hobbs in the face. Now, if he would have touched him, then okay, of course, yeah, that's something else. And
Oh
like
yeah.
I said earlier, I think if you want to celebrate like that, you might want to expect the consequences if someone decides to pull up on you. We know this track and field is probably not going to happen unless you want to look back to USA's when Noah gave Kenny the glare and Kenny shoved Noah in response. They didn't DQ them there, did they? So I think, to your point, we can't have these arbitrary rules of this celebration is too far, whereas this is not. If it's not a point blank, you touch them or whatever, something that is not arbitrary but objective, that any official across the world can make the same call that this was unsportsmanlike, then we need to really revise those rules. Because again, it was distasteful. If it's distasteful or if it's corny or whatever you want to say, I don't really care. But I also think that if he didn't actually physically impede, then why is he being DQ'd for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, didn't love it. But anyway, what also happened? Keely Hodgkinson, she did it. She broke the world record. She did it. She did it. She did it at Leben. She clocked 154.87, actually smashing the world record by almost a full second. I mean, did we have any doubt that this was going to happen, guys?
No.
Did we have any doubt? Were there any doubts?
Well, the timing. I wasn't sure. Keely's been in and out. When she's on, she's on. When she's out, she's out. And so, like, I was pleasantly surprised to see her in full form this quickly. Happy for it. I couldn't recall. Was she dealing with injury after Tokyo? Or was this just kind of her first big race back?
Before Tokyo, it was a thing where she was dealing with injury for most of outdoor season. And then she opened up at Diamond League and she clocked 154. And honestly, for that very reason right there is why I wasn't surprised at her second race of indoor season. She was going to break the world record because her first one, she ran 156. So we know that she's not an ordinary runner, and it is clear that she's not trying to be an ordinary runner. So with that performance, with how she opened her outdoor season last season, that is why that I was surprised about. That's why I wasn't surprised about this, because we know the type of dog she has in her. So I guess to answer your question, yes-ish, but I think she had gotten over that injury post.
You know what it was? You know what I was saying was that she wasn't she didn't race all the way through British Champs a couple weeks ago. That was kind of my red flag. I was like, oh, like, wonder if she's dealing with something. Like, but clearly she was leading towards bigger and better things.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I mean, Keely, like, if Keely steps up to the line, you know it's going to be something. She's not going to step to the line unless she knows she can perform. And it's kind of crazy to say she could be dealing with the injury, but we know we could still expect a world record. So I think I personally am not surprised we called this last week on the show. I mean, hey, yeah, Keely doing Keely things. What can we expect? It's greatness personified. And yeah, when someone that's that talented decides that they're going to step on the track, not only, it's kind of like we said about Noah, where if we know that Noah's going to show up, we know Noah's going to perform. If we know that Keely's going to show up, we know Keely's going to perform. Don't worry about how she was before she got to the line. Just know that if Keely's on the line, expect greatness.
No, for sure. I don't think there's no such thing as a rust buster, at least not in traditional sense for Keely. Yeah. Moving along, we also have something really cool to see here. Femke Bol, she's strong. And we knew she was strong, but I think seeing her lift in certain capacities is like, oh, wow. She's over here cleaning 242 pounds like it's nothing. So it's like, and she has such like this small voice, but has such big power. And this just puts
trying to get like her.
No, for real.
That is crazy. That's crazy. I mean, that's a power clean that she just caught there at 242. For context, I don't know how much Femke Bol weighs, but I highly doubt. I wouldn't be surprised like if that was close to twice her body weight, and that's insane power to weight ratio. And I guess, you know, if we were talking about Femke was like a pure sprinter, maybe we would be a little less surprised. But this girl just dropped the 159.800 and typically runs the 400 hurdle. So I don't think people expect someone who has like a longer distance sprint background to be that powerful. But it just goes to show like power to weight is just physics working in your advantage.
I will say, when I first saw this, though, my head went to the fact that she's done for this season. Like, she ran the 800 and then said that was it due to an injury that popped up. Speaking from experience, I know she's got the best trainers and everything, but when I do a weightlift move wrong, I'm feeling that for months. I kind of drew years, to be honest. That was kind of my thing that I drew, is like, you're throwing around all that weight and then pull out with an injury that pulled up. I don't know if they're connected or not, but you know, you gotta be very careful when you're moving that much weight that you're doing it the right form. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
If I could take a guess of what's going on in her camp, it would be along the lines of them just being conservative. It's going to be a long season. It's a non-championship year. I mean, obviously we have Ultimate coming up later on, but no world championships, no Olympic championships. They're probably trying to have a longer season and trying a new event. So I think they're just trying to be conservative and just raise her sporadically and make sure she's 100% every time she does so, unless they need to do something else or tweak something else or experiment with something else. If I had to like give my best guess.
And getting to 300 pounds.
Now she gets to 300 pounds, and that would be crazy. I mean, my PR in the clean is 305, and I thought that was insane. But 242 is nuts. And to your point, Nia, I think what's happening here, she's dealing with a foot injury. They decided they're going to cancel the indoor season. There's nothing to really be chasing this year, so to speak. I know she's a champion. She's going to always be chasing something. But I say that to say, what it looks like to me from the naked outside looking in, putting up that much weight, I mean, they're probably just going back to the lab, reestablishing that base or maintaining that base so that if she does decide when she does decide to pop out outdoors, she has all this strength background to work on. One more thing, it's very important to think she's still a power athlete at the end of the day, right? So it's very important that one thing that tends to fall to the wayside when you take time off as a power athlete is that power output. The strength is one thing, but strength being how much weight you can move overall, but power is how quickly you can apply that strength. Power is I'm blanking on the term, but basically power is about how quickly you can move. So moving that weight, keeping her power up. Don't expect her to not drop something outdoors because she's keeping her power up while maintaining that health of the foot. Then she can just tune things up and just go fire off.
100%. I love that you ended it off talking about firing off. Because Mondo did that this weekend. And we're not even talking about the pole vault. Johnny actually found this. Mondo, we all know he's an artist, but he performed. Let's take a look. No, that's right.
You see me over here nodding my head.
I want to take this first concert
already. Yeah, like we already got a little summer bop from Mondo. All right, I see it. Look, this is Side Quest becoming a whole like spin-off into its own dimension right now. I mean, I love to see it. I love to see when athletes are not afraid to be who they are on the track. Obviously, being the best in the world, but have other interests aside from the sport. So important. So important. Go, Mondo. I see you, bro.
That man's just got straight aura. He's the thing is the music is really good, and so like this was something we followed a lot last year when he like first started dropping singles. The music is great, and so love it. Like you said, having those interests outside of sports, something that he's also really good at. I wanted to dissect this specific clip a little bit though. This looks like I think he was on Swedish TV. I believe it was not in the States, but that was, not only is he making the music, he's performing it up on, live television, which is its own thing. And I got to give him props. I don't think this is the easiest thing to do to stay relaxed and look at him jamming out a little bit, feeling himself. Like he's a performer too. So, he's figuring out all these pieces. Look at that. He's
Performers performing no matter what the venue is, right?
He should perform at his own wedding. I think that gives like summer love.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, Nia, because I mean, obviously he's over here performing on the stage, but he just opened up the season with a 6:06 world lead, took the world lead off of Emmanuel Carales. And I think what's really interesting, if you look at the article where I was reading this earlier, obviously he opened up with 6:06, and in that same competition, he took some attempts at 6:31 because he said he wanted to just put up the new world record height. And he mentioned in that same interview that he's looking to go over that 6:31 because he wants to get that world record bonus to pay for his wedding. So, I mean, clearly this man's on to like, he's maybe him performing on the stage is just an opportunity for him to dial up his performance when he gets to the pole vault runway. Because, psychologically, I mean, there's something there that's going on.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay. I'm not mad at that at all. So we'll see if he ends up getting the world record. He will get it. And he'll get that bonus. I don't know why I'm talking about.
Let's see if Mondo's going to get a world record.
Silly me. Silly me. But best of luck, Mondo. We will be watching. I can't wait to hear more music. But all right, guys, USATF Indoor Track and Field Championships is coming up. Let's preview it just a little bit. First things first, Jordan Anthony will be running, and he comes in with the current world lead in the 60 meters with a time of 6:43. And this is going to be something good. Jordan got that swag now. We spoke about this last week that Jordan kind of had his welcome to the pro moment. So now that he's had that experience, how can he actually level up against these pros now that he's, a little bit more seasoned in the game? Because joining him in the field will be Noah Lyles and also Trayvon Rommel. What do we think, guys?
I don't think Jordan Anthony is afraid of anybody, and that's what I love about watching him compete. He shows up, he's like, I'm Jordan Anthony, y'all got to race me, And I think it's to the point that, like, you got to understand, to come into a competition, this level, as you said, he kind of had to get, like, that little, what's to say, that little moment where you're trying to figure out how you are as a pro from coming from college. But now I think he's already in his stride. I don't think this is a guy who's still having to figure it out. I think it's clicked. And I think we're at the very beginning watching what could be a meteoric rise in his career. I don't think he's afraid of Noah. I don't think he's afraid of Trayvon. And honestly, he may just go out there and win it this weekend. And I'm not surprised. That might be my pick. And not just because of the world lead, but because of the energy he's bringing to every single race he steps on the line.
Nice. Jordan's also my pick. Johnny, what do you think?
Well, this guy's a Bowerman winner. He's a 2025 Bowerman winner, and that is a rarefied air. We're talking the best NCAA athlete out of this whole crop of amazing talents. To get to that position, you need to be a winner, a champion. You have to know how to win, and it doesn't matter who you're going up against. And it's just the circle of life. That there's the folks that have been winning for years, but you always got to keep an eye out for the rising talents, and he's already arrived there. So, that combined championship mindset, kind of with this momentum that he's carrying over from college, like, he's going to give everybody a run for their money. And yeah, I agree. He's definitely in that conversation to take the title.
100%. When we speak about that, I think Caleb McRae, he will be headlining the men's 400. As we know, he is the world leader and also the world record holder in the event with a time of 44:52. I think he is kind of an easy one to pick to take that national title. We've seen a different version of him this indoor season. Obviously, he's always been pretty dominant in his own right, but this indoor season, he looks like a man on the mission. And it feels like all eyes are on world championships next year and then LA the year following. So what are our thoughts right now on Caleb as we head into the USAs?
Don't bet against them. Simple as that. Don't bet against them. I mean, against how fast we think he's going to run is really what we should be asking. It's competition. Anybody could show up on any day. Anybody could have a bad day. But to your point, I think he's just, it's what we talked about again. We keep talking about the conversation we had with English about, and just knowing as a championship athlete that every single thing we do here, we're talking about the 2026 indoor season. These races are just setting himself up for the outdoor season, which are just setting himself up for 2027, which are just setting himself up for 2028. So if we zoom out, we can look at this moment, this run that he's having in 2026, regardless of what happens after, as something that's going to be very foundational for him, making a huge case to be potentially a medalist in LA. So I think I'm always one to look further. I think it's part of being an Olympic athlete. You're always looking down to the next games to determine what you're doing in the present day. But I think that what you're seeing is him really riding a strong case for him to be a favorite. If not in the World Championships next year, definitely in LA. I said that.
Okay. I'm not mad at it, Johnny.
When you come in with a world record, that's a pretty high bar. So anybody that's going to beat him is going to have to really work for it, to put it mildly.
Yeah, no, Caleb will be one to look forward to. I think the entire side, especially on the men's side, or indoor USAs, will be something interesting. Also on the entry list is Cooper Luckenhouse. He's definitely a flow fave here. We all know World U20 world record holder, undefeated currently in his pro career. And he has a top 5 time in the world in the indoor 800 right now. He could the next time we have this show next week, we could be talking about him being a national champion. And if he decides to then go on to Poland, he can probably contest and medal. That's what I'm saying, like with all of my chest. So yeah, that's my prediction.
I think you're not saying anything crazy here. He's coming in with the top seeded mark. Isaiah Harris behind him, but like that's, I hadn't considered the fact that Cooper could get a world title at 16, but based on everything we've seen, his first season as a professional has been going incredibly well. No notes. He's got a lot of momentum, and coming in as the top seed, like that would be something to watch, wouldn't it? To see a 16-year-old national title, perhaps world champion.
Great.
I'm going to second that, Nia. I think sometimes I'll play devil's advocate, but like I really think you're onto something with that call.
He ain't scared,
Yeah.
Johnny. He ain't scared.
He ain't scared, and I'm inclined to agree. Add a third to it. I'm not gonna say he will win because there's a couple guys out there who might have something to say about it, but at the same time, I can't say I'd actively bet against him. The thing about Cooper, oh boy, where do we begin? I'll try to make this quick. Cooper Lookenhouse finished last season blowing his own ideas out of the water. We talked about how running a PR is an outer body experience. You literally done something your physical body has never done. Your nervous system has never run for 142. He did that at USA's, qualified for Worlds. Obviously didn't have the best world experience last year. But what is really in Cooper Lookenhouse's pocket right now that I don't think there are many other people have, especially at 16 years old, so nobody except for maybe Sam Ruth in his own way, is that Cooper, less than what, if we do the math, just about 6 months ago to the time that World Championships will come around indoors, he was just at another World Championships. And he had a disappointing World Championships. And you know what happens when a champion who has the caliber of talent that Cooper Lookenhouse has, when they have a bad World Championships, they don't make that same mistake twice. So for him to have that, come out in his pro career, be undefeated, and knowing how to run these races and be consistent in it, he really is. He's a medal favorite. I don't know if it's going to be gold, and I'm not trying to talk against it. I just feel like there's a lot of other big dogs there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won it either.
Oh, for sure.
But let's stay focused on USA's. USA's is probably his.
Yeah, I think USA's he can definitely win. Worlds he can definitely medal. On the women's side, though, headlining this coming in, one of the top seeds, Sage Hurtaklecker. So she leads the charge. She currently has a time of 158.78 coming into the entry list. But also, Nia Akins will also be there, Megan Hunter, Valerie Tobias. So it should be a good race. And I have my eyes on Sage, of course, but I also have my eyes on Valerie. She's a dark horse in this one. She's a dark horse. She did really well last indoor season to make the team as well. But I like her style. New to the pro circuit, and someone else where I think last year was kind of her welcome to the pros moment. And now that she's had that moment, she can really contest.
Yep. I too have no notes. Yeah.
You're nailing these, Nia. I think normally we have a lot more to go back and forth on. You're absolutely right. Valerie, first year as a pro is always challenging. I agree with that take. Valerie does have, from her NCAA days, does have that champion mindset. This is going to be a really good race. Sage as well has just kind of been, I feel like every time we see her show up, it's another level up, and she's coming off the world team for World Cross just a month ago. But we've seen Valerie too. Valerie's coming in, and Nia Akins, of course, you can never forget about her. Just taking that 800 title in the past. I think we're going to be putting together a strong Team USA. That's without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think that women's 800 is going to be very far from predictable. I think on the men's side, you can kind of like put your picks in, but that women's 8, I think that can be anyone else's game, because there's also some other names I haven't mentioned that can have their standout moment, or like that, hey, look at me, I'm also here, don't forget moment. And then they'll make sure from that point moving forward, we won't. So we will see. The women it's a toss up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Agreed.
Let's step up in distance, guys. Men's 1500, highlighted by the one and only Cole Hawker. I have said this time and time and time again. I don't think there will be many instances where we'll be seeing this man place anything but first, but he will also be in the 3000, and in the field with him, and that will be Ethan Strand, Yard Nagoose, Nico Young, and Cooper Tier. So we have a lot of guys that are doubling up, and not every name that I just mentioned, but a lot of them. What are our thoughts on that?
He's got a lot of momentum, He's just coming off a hot weekend at JDL where he set that American record. Would have loved to see that world record go down, but Cole's on one right now. But I think what we've seen a little bit less of, and we can never discount, is Yard. I think Yard's probably eager for his time in the spotlight. So I would not say that Cole's going to run away with it. He's going to have a battle in his hands like we saw last year. I feel like him and Yared went back and forth at Grand Slam and at other races. That's always a fun matchup. And then, of course, the rest of the names you just mentioned, like, are not going to let them, have it easy either.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. And we're talking about some of the best talents in this distance. Mid distance right now is just, we're in a new era. Ceiling is now the floor with the mid distance. I think, or I guess it's the longer version, shorter distance and whatnot. But I think the talent is so high that you can't necessarily say who's going to win on talent. But what you can say is which talent is in the most form. Cole has been winning a lot this year, and he's been winning in very impressive fashion. He may not be blowing people out. He set an American record. Yes, we saw that. But at Millrose, he tactically raced himself to the win there, and we saw what he did. Put them all to sleep.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. I think, look, it's an impressive double, but I think Cole is ready to win both. I think he's ready to do it.
Okay.
And I mean, the 3K is going to be a little bit more challenging, but who am I to talk? I triple jump, right? I think just going back to what I'm saying, I think he's one of the most, he's the one that can go down, he can go up, he can cover all his bases really well, and you don't ever want to see him close to you with 200, even 350 meters to go. I think the Cole is in the race towards the last 300 meters in the 3K. It could be his. I think the 1500 is definitely his, though.
Yeah, his kick is lethal, so I would hope that everybody would watch out for that. And they are not within striking distance with 200, 150 to go. But moving along, guys, the men's long jump is going to be something interesting. Cordell Tinch will be competing. He has the fourth farthest jump in the world currently with 8:29. And this is a throwback pick I found when he was at Pitt State. And I was like, let's just use this. Because remember, he did say he is a jumper first. So let's see if he can not only leave with a national title, but if he goes to Worlds, will he medal at Worlds? That will be something very interesting to see.
Look, I said this many times. I mean, there are some people over in Europe popping off. You have Bozidar Zarbuyakov. He has the world lead. He jumped 8:45. He came back and jumped 8:42. You have Matidis Tentoglu, who's probably not having the best indoor season right now, but he could jump 8:20, 8:30 on a bad day. But Cordell Tinch has jumped one time in the past however many years, and he set a PB of 8:29. I think he could go sneak himself a medal at Worlds, and I already think he's going to win. I mean, I think he's probably obviously the favorite to win at USA's. This guy is a jumper first, to your point. He knows how to go out there and get it done. And I love to see when a champion, as we just said, champions know how to get out there and get it done. You know, he may have been focusing on the hurdles for a while, but I would not be surprised if he comes out here and not only just wins, but wins in dominating fashion with another personal best. 8:30 can steal you a medal at Worlds. Let's just put that out there so people understand. It can get you top 4, it can take you top 5, but it can also get you on the podium. So I would not be surprised if USA's in the long jump for Cordell is just a dress rehearsal for what he does in Poland.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just add, I mean, we talk about him all the time, and probably most of our viewers are gonna know, but yeah, he's the 110-meter hurdle world champion just last fall in Tokyo. So this versatility's thrilling. Like I love seeing, that's a true athlete right there, somebody who can go back and forth, and that this is a storyline maybe even more compelling than last year when he kind of took the world by storm in the hurdles. If he could run that back, but this time in the jumps, man, his story just keeps getting more and more interesting.
Cordell's a champion. I think we say that he's a jumper first, but I would argue that he's a champion first. And last outdoor season really did prove that. In addition to him becoming a world champion, he also ran the third fastest time ever over 110-meter hurdles. And so seeing what he has in this championship mindset and returning to the jump, a very different version of himself with a very different swag and confidence, I think he could really make some noise and potentially break, maybe shatter certain records. On the women's side too, guys, we have like a pretty cool toss force going on. Jasmine Moore will be competing, Claire Bryant, Monet Nichols, and this is your girl, Olu. You love Parker Coase. She will also be in the field for the long jump, so that should be exciting.
Parker Coase is sophomore sensation. Remember her name. Remember that girl's name. She's serious. She's the real deal.
100%. And me and Johnny will be doing a full deep dive preview on the ground of USATF Indoor Track and Field Championships on Friday. So stay tuned for that. But also happening this weekend will be NCAA Conference. This season is conference week. Make sure you guys check out the latest rankings that dropped. They will be available for you on FloTrack, socials, and FloTrack.org. So we obviously can't talk about every single conference, but we can just talk about what we're really excited to see.
I think from my side, my pick is going to be one of the easiest picks. I'm going to be going with the SEC. I'm going to be going down to SECs this weekend to watch it. Arkansas women. That's my statement. They've won every SEC championship going back to 2015.
Wow.
You'd be a fool to pick against them. And I rest my case.
What about UGA? They kind of cooking.
They're cooking. They're cooking. They're absolutely cooking. And I know some of the freshmen over there too. However, I don't know, man. I feel like when you have the depth of Arkansas, it's hard to go against like conference SEC. We already know what SEC does in the nation. I just feel like SEC's or Arkansas rather, when you've won a conference championship that many times. I mean, let's just look at momentum. I could be wrong. I could be eating my words a week from now, but I think I'll be good.
All right,
let's see how that ages.
Let's see what 400 University can do. All right, Johnny, give me your pick.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. I've never been to an SEC championship, but, there's going to be fireworks. For me, I'll say it. I'm biased. I'm an ACC guy through and through. Always love following that. Obviously rooting for Virginia, but more so just – because I do think it's a precursor of a lot of matchups we see at NCAAs. It always comes down to something. There's always some drama, pretty much always for these ACC titles. It's always extremely tight, and it always seems to come down to like a DQ or like the last leg of a 4x4. So like, just see. Sometimes it shakes out in UVA's favor, but a lot of times it doesn't. So I'm always rooting for those guys. Seeing stuff like the DMR, like I saw Virginia Tech, and Virginia just went neck and neck. Virginia Tech getting the edge just last week. So I think it's a rising tide. I think all these schools push themselves to be better and, bring an A game to the NCAA championships in just a couple weeks. So be keeping an eye on that one.
All right. What do you think Gary Martin can do?
He's Gary Martin. He's that champ. I think I'd like to see him have a really big breakout moment. Like, he's been progressing really well this season, but I'm always going to root for Gary to have that gold. So fingers crossed.
Okay. All right. I will say we shall see. I know we have something coming up. Me and Johnny have a little bit of a surprise for everyone. We are going to talk to one of the GOATs of the game. So Olu, we'll see you in a quick second. Johnny and I are going to take the floor. We are going to talk to the one and only Jenny Simpson. All right, guys, I think we should get the ball rolling here a little bit because we have a very special guest. We have the pleasure of talking to Jenny Simpson, a world champion in the 1500, taking gold in 2011, and an Olympic bronze medalist from Rio in 2016. She's a three-time Olympian representing Team USA and also the former American record holder in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, an 11-time U.S. national champion. And let's add to that resume a little bit, shall we? In February 2026, Fleet Feet named Jenny Simpson as their first ever chief running officer. Please welcome to the show the legendary Jenny Simpson. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun to be back on FloTrack.
Yeah, man, it's fun to have you here. And we hope there's like more appearances to come because we're usually used to seeing Team USA across your chest. You have Fleet Feet across your chest right now. Please tell us about your new role.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's always, I don't know, it's always just like a big undertaking to wrap up a career and then to enter a season of transition and come out the other side. I think it just takes so much faith to know that once you've kind of wrapped up being an athlete that you'll land somewhere else. And for me, it just felt really important to stay in the sport and plug into a place where I felt like I could maybe move the needle a little bit, maybe make a difference in our sport. And so I'm happy to have found a home at Fleet Feet where hopefully I can do that.
So Jenny, last time I saw you, you were kicking off your 50 state RV road trip. I think Austin was one of your first stops. So that's kind of what, to my knowledge, what you've been up to the last year. Tell me how life has changed in this new chapter. It looks like you're in a nice new office. And also part two of that question is Chief Running Officer. What exactly does that mean? What does that entail?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot there. So I'll take you back a little bit and kind of give you a bit of a timeline. So I ran my last competitive race, finished off 15 years as a pro at the New York City Marathon. And that was really special too. Like I was a 1500 meter runner. Nia, you mentioned I steeplechased early in my career. But the last year of my career, I spent marathoning, which was really far and really long for somebody that specialized in track and field for most of my career. But it was incredible. And to finish my last few miles of my whole career right there in New York City, cross the marathon finish line, was really meaningful. And so when I finished that up, it's November, December, I'm kind of metaphorically hanging up the spikes, hanging up the racing shoes and thinking, what's next? And I didn't want to really rush myself into a new job or a new project or a new idea. I wanted kind of some space and some time to appreciate my career, kind of process my career, and kind of have a little bit of a powwow with my husband and my family and figure out kind of what the next chapter for Jenny Simpson would look like. So with that kind of spirit, my husband and I decided to pack up an RV with our two little dogs. And what I really wanted to do is just a passion project. We wanted to run all over the country and we wanted to run with Americans in all 50 states. So we spent all of 2025, we spent 1 week in each state. So at one point we were in Wisconsin, we were in Hawaii, we were in Florida, we were all over the place and ran with run clubs and run specialty stores all over the country. That was really in so many ways not so much life changing. It was like life broadening. Like we just got to see the whole spectrum of what it looks like to be a runner or to call yourself a runner in this country. And so after running so hard in one narrow lane of high performance for so long, I got to really break free and explore. We ran the Grand Canyon. We ran a bunch of different races from a 4-block race all the way to the marathon. We got to run kind of slow, fun club runs. We got to run some competitive track sessions. In fact, when we were out in Austin, we were all running out on the track one day. So it was just like a really mind expanding year. And so to wrap up that year with a call from Joey Pointer, the CEO at Fleet Feet, to say, hey, we want to do some really big things in running and we'd like your leadership and what some of that can look like. It just was kind of the opportunity of a lifetime for an athlete like me.
I'd love to stick to that point, that last point you were saying. You are no stranger to change. You are no stranger to impact. I would say that you've definitely impacted track and field, especially in the American space, in the middle and long distance running space specifically, and then going on to marathoning, and now in this new role as a chief running officer. So tell me, Jenny, what is the impact that you hope to make in this role with Fleet Feet?
Oh, that's a really big question. So I don't know that I want my answer today to be perfect. I think one of the strengths I've had in my career is I've always been curious about how to be better. And I've always been curious about what else I could personally be good at. So I'll give you an example. I ran the steeplechase all 4 years in college. It was my senior year in college that I ran the 1500 meters and had a breakout performance at the Prefontaine Classic. And I learned I was good at something else. I was good at the 1500 meters as well. While I raced the 1500 meters for most of my career, I was really, really good at long runs. You can ask, 10 or 15 years of Colorado Buffaloes about Jenny Simpson out on the long run. And there was always this curiosity.
There's a video probably from 2010 somewhere on FloTrack. I've seen it.
Yeah. I have the legend of the long run of me out at Mags and Gold Hill and out on some of the roads north of Boulder. And it's just a strength of the Colorado program in general, is the long run. And so I always had a little bit of a curiosity, like how would that translate if I focused on the marathon? And so, I think having that curiosity, and then in the more narrow kind of space of the 1500 meters, I became really obsessed with how to kind of maximize my recovery and my sleep, and how to, kind of that journey of nutrition over time, and how to get better and better and refine my skills there. And how just to support my love of running and my desire to be the best in the world. And so I think that curiosity is going to set me up well for this next role. So Chief Running Officer, I want to bring, a really runner obsessed, runner focused point of view to a lot of our departments and our conversations. And like I said, having the incredible trust and faith of the Fleet Feet team to be put in a position of leadership and be able to kind of have that voice in a place where it can really have an immediate impact here at Fleet Feet is a privilege. And I really appreciate kind of, like I said, having that faith from Fleet Feet, and then hopefully some of that curiosity and some of that drive and some of the things I've learned along the way can really be helpful in how Fleet Feet then shows up in the running space to help runners be their very best.
So Jenny, you have that beautiful looking office behind you. You just told us before the call that you're calling in from Fleet Feet HQ. I'm curious, as somebody who's been an athlete and a road tripper and a world traveler, what have been some of your first impressions? What's it been like coming into the corporate world, albeit in a very fun industry like Fleet Feet and running? But just curious, kind of about these first few weeks as you kind of get up to speed and acclimating.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things about this role is I'm not here just to be a mouthpiece for the good work that's here, but to actually roll up my sleeves and take part and be part of the hard and good work that's happening here. So I have a much more I just have a different job now. I don't, get in athletic clothes and go to the track, or get in athletic clothes and go to an event as an athlete. I come into an office and I'm working here. I had meetings this morning. We have a brand advisory committee that I'm meeting with over the next 2 days with the team here at Fleet Feet. And yeah, just in a real space that is making a real impact on runners. And it's kind of a different. No, it's totally different. It's just a very, very different environment, but I'm so eager to learn something new, and so eager to be into a place and bring kind of that road trip energy into an office building, and kind of remind people that the world is big. People are really into running. People are really curious and exploring new things. And I'm excited to be able to meet those runners where they are.
Yeah, like we were all saying, you're definitely no stranger to change and no stranger to challenges. But I want to bring it back a little bit to let's talk about running, right? USA's is coming up this weekend, and me and Johnny were talking about it earlier. We want to know, what are you looking forward to? What performances, which races, which athletes? There's no wrong answer. You can give multiple.
Yeah. So okay, indoors is interesting because I didn't run indoors in high school. I ran it a little bit in college, and then I ran kind of like 1 or 2 indoor races a year as a pro. But okay, one of the things that just amazes me is first of all, running is like a rocket ship right now, like the times and the performances these people are putting up. But I guess the reason why I mentioned I come from a little bit of an old school mentality of like cross country in the fall and track in the spring and or in the summer. And then you're a little bit careful about the indoor season because you don't want to, totally over. People are so fit year round now. That is what is blowing my mind. I was just in Winston-Salem at the JDL at the Sound Running Meet indoors, and watching Cole Hawker run just lights out American record there, and watching so many other people just run really fast. It's like with the shoes and the lights and the time of year, like I'm not that far away from competing, and it just is still totally mind blowing to me.
Yeah, we were talking about Cole Hawker actually a couple weeks ago, and he's one of those runners like he always knows how to show up during championship season. However, I think this season is going to be very different where there's not going to be many instances where he's coming anything other than first. Like I don't
Yeah.
see a lot of instances where he's coming second, third, fourth, and I'm willing to put up out there that he could possibly have a undefeated season coming up. Because sometimes you'll see, all right, he may like play second, third, and it's like, okay, it is what it is. But this feels a little different. Like what we've seen, it feels different.
It is fun to watch somebody get up to the top, and then it's like when they, and I think I had a little bit of this experience. Like I won the world championships in 2011, but then when you can reflect on that experience and figure out how to repeat that process and how to like win on purpose every time when you go out, you start feeling less lucky and you feel more like, okay, this is an intentional, real, meaningful process and I know how to get it done. I definitely, from kind of my freshman year, I won NCAAs in the steeplechase my freshman year, and it was a big surprise. Like it was a surprise to me, it was a surprise to my coaches. But I think I really had like the talent. I had an incredible coaching staff that got me ready for it, and then the will to win, right? So it was kind of the right combination. But then to figure out over the next 4 years of college how to show up and know I know what it takes to win today, and I have what it takes to win today. To watch other athletes have that maturation process is just really incredible. And I think Cole is one of those people. You know, there are moments where you surprise yourself, but now you're going out on a mission and you really know you can get it done.
And kind of piggybacking off that, one of the things that we really love following is it seems like the talent is just progressively getting younger, like with storylines like Sam Ruth and Quincy Wilson, these super young 16-year-old all-stars. For somebody who's had such a fulfilling career that lasted, and what would be kind of your advice or some takeaways that you think contributed to kind of such a long-lasting, fulfilling career, for decades?
Yeah, thank you. I think I love that question because I was really fortunate that I was good in high school, I was good in college, I was good after college. And it is hard. It is hard to be good for a long time. I recently was telling somebody, I have kind of this mentality that I don't often root for the underdog because I know how hard it is once you're on top to stay on top. It's so hard for the person with all the pressure and all of the training and the target on their back to like keep making it happen. And I really like rooting for that person. It's all about development. It's all about knowing how can I master the phase I'm in today. So when I was in high school, I tried to be the best high schooler. When I was in college, I tried to be the best college runner. And I took the amount of time that I had to really develop and incrementally master those segments of the sport before I advanced on to the next place. A lot of that comes from incredible guidance from coaches. My high school coach was amazing, never had my sights on college until I was ready to go there. College was the same way. It was like, how can we be the best NCAA athlete? And there weren't tons of conversations, even when I was already running in the Golden League and the Diamond League races and world championships. It was always about how can I be the very, very best NCAA athlete. So then by the time I got to sign a contract and have a pro career, it was just about being the best runner on the track, no matter where I was, what race, what distance. And so that development, I think, was a really big part of the longevity of my career.
Perfectly said. Jenny, this has been nothing short of amazing. And I hope you come back, and you know what? Come back whenever. It's open. But just hit us up and tell us, hey, I'm trying to come tomorrow. Say less. You're in the show.
Well, Fleet Feet and FloTrack have a bit of a thing on this summer called the Diamond League, right? The Diamond League coverage.
Oh yeah.
And that's my like home turf. Like that's my territory. I ran a lot of Diamond Leagues in my career, won a trophy or two. And so I'm sure we're going to be running to each other again this summer for sure.
I can't wait. And hopefully we can see you in the new HQ as well.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone give it up for the legendary Jenny Simpson. And we will thank you. This was amazing.
Yeah, it's so good to see you guys. And again, like you mentioned, Austin, I was down there in the van. From the van to the boardroom, you guys can find me. You never know where I'll be. If we're in the van at some point down in Austin, we'll come knock on the door. So thank you so much for having me. This is a really fun conversation.
You're very
Thank you,
welcome.
Jenny.
Come again. Guys, that was a really cool conversation. I picked up a lot talking to Jenny, and I'm really excited for this partnership with Fleet Feet, how she will encourage the running group there. And I think just encouraging running, period. The way that she really inspires, I think, the youth, and the stuff that she said, and the last question that you asked, Johnny, regarding advice that she would give, the fact that she lit up and just couldn't wait to give it, it says a lot. So it is definitely more than running, more than the talent. Just the passion is very much so there.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what a great pickup by Fleet Feet. It's gonna, running is not, we focus a lot on the elite level, but there's so much. The iceberg is so much bigger as far as folks that can be inspired and moved by running. And Jenny's that perfect bridge and that perfect connector to inspire people at all levels. I'm inspired. I'm gonna go lace up after we wrap here. So excited to work more with her and work more with Fleet Feet. We got a lot to look forward to this year. With this Fleet Feet partnership. So we'll be seeing a lot more of her, I hope.
Yeah, it's cool to see it's cool to see people transitioning their passion for actually competing in the sport to giving back to the sport. So great pickup by Fleet Feet. Corporate Jenny, we love to see it. Jenny Simpson, the legend, the one and only. Yeah, great interview, guys.
Thank you. With that being said, that is the show. Remember, guys, this weekend, Johnny and I will be on the ground in New York City covering USATF National Indoor Championships. Olu, you will be on the ground in College Station covering SEC. So we have exciting stuff coming for you. We will be coast to coast. And with that being said, that is your episode of The Meetup. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Yeah.